Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. And today we're going to do something really interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to look at digital marketing
Okay.
for mining companies.
Right.
And you might think,
Yeah.
that's kind of a weird combo.
Right.
Like, what does the internet have to do with digging up rocks and minerals, right?
Exactly.
But actually, we found this awesome article from Beam Up Digital,
Yes.
and it just blew our minds about how these two worlds are really coming together.
Yeah, we should know.
Yeah.
We wrote it.
Right.
Beam Up Digital.
So,
We're a digital agency specializing in investor relations.
So you're really seeing firsthand how mining companies are using these new tools to get their message out there.
Absolutely. We're working with them every single day, helping them reach a global audience,
Wow.
attract investors, and really stand out in a competitive landscape.
So I'm already learning something new.
Good.
I always thought of mining as,
Yeah.
very traditional,
Mm-hmm.
kind of old school industry.
Yeah.
But this whole digital angle is really eye-opening.
It is. It's fascinating to see how even companies digging for gold need a solid digital strategy,
Right.
like everybody else.
So let's dig into this article a bit, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, so one of the first things that jumped out at me was how digital marketing is becoming a real powerhouse for lead generation
Yes,
in the mining industry.
absolutely.
So we're not just talking about awareness here.
Right.
It's about actually driving real business results,
Yeah.
like securing funding,
Yeah.
attracting top talent,
Yeah.
building stronger relationships with local communities.
You got it.
So how is that actually happening? Like, what are mining companies doing to generate these leads?
Well, one of the biggest advantages of digital marketing is its measurability.
Okay.
Unlike traditional marketing methods where it was tough to track return on investment, digital campaigns provide real-time data. So we can see exactly what's working, what's not, and make adjustments on the fly.
That's huge.
It is huge. And it's essential for an industry like mining where decisions can have significant financial and environmental impacts.
Right. So you got to be really strategic.
Yeah.
Make sure every dollar you spend is actually making a difference.
You got it.
The article also dives deep into content marketing.
Uh-huh.
What's that all about?
So content marketing is about providing valuable and relevant information to your target audience.
Okay.
It's not about selling. It's about educating, informing, and building trust.
So how does that translate to the mining world?
Well, think about it. You could have blog posts breaking down complex industry trends,
Right.
explainer videos that showcase the latest mining technologies,
Hmm.
or even virtual site tours that give potential investors a firsthand look at your operations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
So you're saying instead of just telling people what you do, you're actually showing them.
Exactly. Show, don't tell. That's the key.
I like that. And I can see how video would be particularly powerful for an industry like mining.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've got these massive operations, cutting-edge technology,
Ah.
stunning visuals.
Yeah, it's a marketer's dream.
So how are companies actually using video?
In so many ways. We've seen companies use drone footage to showcase the scale of their operations.
Oh, wow.
3D animations to explain complex extraction processes, and even time lapses to highlight project milestones.
That's awesome.
It's a really engaging way to bring the mining industry to life.
Yeah, it's way more exciting than just reading a bunch of text on a website.
You got it.
But I imagine creating all this content can be a bit of a headache.
It can be, yeah, especially for companies that are new to content marketing.
So any tips for staying organized and making sure you're putting out content consistently?
A content calendar is your best friend.
Okay.
It's like a roadmap for your content strategy. You plan out your topics in advance, assign deadlines, and make sure you're covering a variety of formats and channels.
So it's not just about creating great content. It's about having a plan and sticking to it.
Exactly. Consistency is key.
And speaking of plans, let's talk about SEO,
Right.
search engine optimization. This is one of those terms that gets thrown around a lot, but it can be a bit of a mystery.
Yeah.
Your article throws out a pretty mind-blowing statistic question. Tugabilla Google processes over 70,000 searches per second.
That's right. It's a crazy amount of information flowing through the internet.
Yeah, and it just highlights how important it is for businesses to be visible online,
Absolutely.
especially in a competitive industry like mining.
When potential investors or partners are looking for information on mining companies, they're going straight to Google.
Right.
If you're not showing up on that first page of search results, you're missing out on a huge opportunity.
So how do you make sure you're showing up on that first page?
That's where SEO comes in. It's about optimizing your website and content for relevant keywords.
Keywords.
Yeah, those are the words and phrases people are typing into Google when they're looking for information on mining.
Okay.
For example, instead of just targeting the keyword mining,
Right.
you might target copper mining companies in Chile or sustainable lithium extraction technologies.
So the more specific you are, the better.
Exactly. You want to attract the right audience,
Makes
the
sense.
folks who are actually interested in what you have to offer.
And you also mentioned something called long-tail keywords in the article.
Oh, yeah. Long tail keywords are longer, more specific phrases that people search for.
Give me an example.
Sure, let's say you're a mining company focused on providing sustainable mining solutions for renewable energy projects.
Okay.
You might target a long tail keyword like ESG compliant cobalt mining for electric vehicle batteries.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is, but it's very specific and it will attract the exact audience you're looking for.
So it's not just about ranking for any old keyword. It's
Mhm.
about strategically targeting the terms that will attract your ideal clients or investors.
You got it.
Okay, so optimizing for keywords is one piece of the SEO puzzle. What else do mining companies need to consider?
Well, site speed is a big one.
Site speed.
Yeah, how fast your website loads.
Oh,
In today's world, people have zero patience for slow loading websites.
I know. I get impatient too.
If your site takes forever to load, people will just click away to a competitor.
Makes sense.
You also need to make sure your website is mobile friendly.
Oh, right, because everyone's on their phones these days.
Exactly. More and more people are accessing the internet on their smartphones, so your site needs to look great and function flawlessly on any device.
So it's like making sure your digital storefront is welcoming and easy to navigate.
Precisely, you don't want potential investors getting lost in a maze of clunky menus and slow-loading pages.
No, you want to make it easy for them to find the information they need and make a good impression.
Absolutely. First impressions matter online just as much as they do in person.
Right. And for mining companies, that first impression can be the difference between securing a major investment or losing out to a competitor with a more polished online presence.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, so we've covered content marketing and SEO. It sounds like there's a lot to consider, even for something as seemingly simple as having a website.
It's more than just a website. It's your digital home base.
True, true. But there's more, right?
Oh, yeah. We've only just scratched the surface.
All right, well, we'll have to dig a little deeper.
Let's do it.
Stay tuned, everyone, for part 2 of our deep dive into digital marketing for mining companies, where we'll explore even more ways this industry is striking gold in the digital age.
Can't wait. You know, one thing we've noticed is that a lot of mining companies kind of overlook email marketing.
Really?
Yeah, they think it's a bit old school
Yeah.
in the age of social media and all that.
Yeah, I get it. But when I saw email marketing in your article, I was like,
Right.
really?
Yeah.
Is that still relevant?
Yeah, exactly.
But you guys make a good point about why it's especially important for mining companies.
Yeah, think about it. You've got a captive audience right there in their inbox. These are people who have opted in.
Yeah.
They want to hear from you.
Right.
They're interested in your company. So email gives you that direct line to communicate important news project updates. Showcase your commitment to ESG principles.
Okay, so it's not just about blasting out generic marketing emails.
No.
It's about providing valuable content
Exactly.
that your audience actually wants to receive.
Yes, it's the key.
And you also talked about segmenting your email list.
Yes.
So you're sending the right message to the right people.
Absolutely. You wouldn't send the same email to a potential investor
Right.
that you would to a community member concerned about the environmental impact of your operations.
That makes sense. So how do you actually do that? How do you segment your email list?
It can be as simple as just categorizing your contacts
Yeah.
based on their role.
Uh,
Investor, supplier, government official, community member, whatever it might be.
okay.
You can also segment based on expressed interests. Like
Okay.
if someone downloaded a white paper on sustainable mining practices,
Gotcha.
then, they're interested in that topic.
Right? And you can send them more information about that.
Exactly.
So it's almost like you're having a personalized conversation with each person on your list.
That's a great way to put it.
But with email, you can have that conversation with thousands of people at once.
At scale.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And another great thing about email marketing,
Yeah.
it's relatively inexpensive
Okay.
compared to other marketing channels.
So it's cost effective,
Very cost effective.
which is important.
Especially for mining companies working with limited budgets.
All right.
You got to make every dollar count.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about video marketing.
All right.
This is something I'm personally really interested in
Yeah,
because I think video is such a powerful tool for storytelling,
absolutely.
and especially for an industry like mining,
Oh, yeah.
where you've got these visually stunning operations,
Mm-hmm.
cutting-edge technology.
The perfect match.
So how are mining companies using video effectively?
Oh, in so many ways.
Yeah.
You can take potential investors on virtual mine tours using drone footage or 360-degree video,
Oh, wow.
so they can actually experience the vastness of the operation,
That's cool.
see the cutting-edge technology in action,
Yeah.
and get a real sense of the company's commitment to safety and sustainability.
That's awesome.
You can also use animation
Okay.
to explain complex processes in a way that's easy to understand.
Right, because some of that stuff can be pretty technical.
It can be very technical.
Yeah.
So animation's a great way to break it down.
Makes sense.
And then time lapses are always fun
Oh, yeah.
to show progress.
That's a good one.
You know, highlight milestones.
I remember reading about a mining company that used drone footage to address community concerns about the environmental impact of a new project.
Oh, yeah, that's a great example.
They were able to show how they were implementing responsible mining practices
Mm-hmm.
to minimize their footprint,
Exactly.
and it really helped to build trust with the community.
Yeah, video is a powerful tool for transparency and for building those relationships.
And speaking of reaching a wider audience,
Yeah.
your article also mentions webinars and virtual events.
Oh, yeah, those have become essential.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's doing webinars these days,
They are. They're so effective,
but especially for mining companies, right?
especially for mining companies.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, they allow you to connect with a global audience
Okay.
without the cost and the logistics of travel,
Right.
you know, flying people all over the place.
Yeah, that can get expensive.
So webinars and virtual events are a great way to reach investors, stakeholders, the wider public, really.
And I imagine it's also a good way to attract a younger audience.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Millennials and Gen Z, they're digital natives.
they're glued to their phones.
They expect companies to have a strong online presence.
Right.
Engage with them through those channels.
The webinars and virtual events are a good way to meet those expectations. Okay, so we've talked about content marketing, email marketing, video marketing, webinars, and virtual events.
We've covered a lot.
It sounds like mining companies have a whole arsenal of digital tools at their disposal.
They do. It's an exciting time.
It is. But what about traditional PR and media relations?
Yeah,
Does that still have a place in the digital age?
absolutely. PR and media outreach are still incredibly valuable
Okay.
for building credibility and reaching a wider audience.
Okay, but I imagine the tactics have evolved a bit.
They have. It's not just about sending out press releases anymore. It's
Yeah.
about pitching stories to online publications,
Okay.
building relationships with industry influencers,
Uh-huh.
and using social media to amplify your message.
So it's about integrating PR and media relations into your overall digital strategy.
Exactly. It's all connected.
That makes sense.
You want to make sure your message is consistent across all channels.
Right?
We've seen our clients get some great media coverage in publications like the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, by leveraging their digital content and using social media to promote their stories.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really effective.
So it sounds like the lines between traditional PR and digital marketing are becoming increasingly blurred.
They are, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It means mining companies have more opportunities than ever to connect with their audience.
Okay, one last question before we wrap up this part.
Sure.
Your article talks a lot about measuring the success of your digital marketing efforts.
Uh-huh.
Can you give our listeners a quick overview of what that looks like?
Absolutely. So it all comes down to tracking key performance indicators, or KPIs.
KPIs.
Yeah, it's all about understanding how your digital marketing efforts are translating into tangible outcomes.
Okay, so give me some examples.
Sure. So if you're looking at brand awareness,
Yeah.
you might track website traffic,
Okay.
social media mentions,
Huh.
even search volume for your brand name.
So you're looking to see if those numbers are going up over time?
Yeah. Exactly. That would indicate that more people are becoming aware of your brand.
Right, and what about lead generation?
For lead generation, you'd track things like the number of people downloading a white paper,
Okay.
signing up for a webinar,
Uh-huh.
filling out a contact form on your website.
So it's about tracking actions that actually lead to business results.
Exactly. You want to make sure your efforts are actually driving value for the company.
Not just vanity metrics.
Yeah, likes and shares are great, but they don't always translate into business outcomes.
Okay, so it's about having a clear call to action on your website and in your marketing materials,
Yeah,
so people know what to do next.
exactly. You want to guide them towards taking actions that will ultimately benefit your business.
And the beauty of digital marketing is that you can track all of this stuff.
You can see what's working.
Yeah, what's not?
Adjust your strategy accordingly
That's the key.
to optimize your results.
Data-driven decision-making,
I like it so it's like a giant puzzle.
where each piece, the website, the content, the social media, the email marketing, the PR,
Yeah.
all work together to create a complete picture of the company.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this part, but there's still more to explore.
Oh, yeah, we've just scratched the surface.
All right, well, we'll have to keep digging. Then stay tuned, everyone, for part 3 of our deep dive into digital marketing for mining companies, where we'll wrap things up and look at how this industry can stay ahead of the curve in the ever-evolving world of digital marketing. And we're back for the final dig in our deep dive into digital marketing for mining companies with the experts from Beam Up Digital.
You know, one thing that's really stood out to me throughout this conversation is how much mining companies need to shift their mindset when it comes to digital marketing.
Absolutely. It's not just about adding a digital layer on top of your existing operations.
Right.
It's about integrating it into every aspect of your business.
So it's really a company-wide thing.
Exactly. It starts at the top with the leadership team.
Yeah. And it needs to filter down to every department.
So everyone needs to be on board.
Everyone needs to understand the importance of digital marketing and how it can help the company achieve its goals.
And it's about more than just having a website or a social media presence.
Right.
It's about actively engaging with your audience.
Exactly. It's about listening to your audience, responding to their concerns, and building relationships based on transparency and trust.
So it's about building authentic connections,
Absolutely.
not just broadcasting messages.
Right. It's a two-way street.
And speaking of websites, your article really emphasizes the importance of having a well-designed, user-friendly website.
Oh, it's crucial.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing people see when they go online to learn more about your company.
It's your digital front door.
Right.
And first impressions matter.
They do. So what are some of the key elements of a good mining company website?
Well, first and foremost, it needs to be visually appealing,
Okay.
easy to navigate, and mobile friendly.
Right, because everyone's on their phones these days.
Exactly.
Right.
What else? It should clearly communicate the company's value proposition,
Right?
highlight its ESG commitments.
Right. Sustainability is huge these days.
It is, and investors are paying close attention to it.
So you got to make that information front and center.
Absolutely, and make sure it's easy to find.
Okay, good point. And don't forget about accessibility.
Oh, that's so important.
Yeah, make sure your website is designed to be inclusive for people with disabilities.
You want to make sure everyone can access your content and learn about your company.
Now, I know some mining companies might feel a little overwhelmed
Yeah,
by all of this digital stuff.
I get it.
They might not have the resources or the expertise in-house to handle it all.
That's where partnerships can be really valuable.
Okay, so you're talking about working with digital marketing agencies
Exactly.
or consultants who specialize in the mining industry.
Right. They can provide the guidance and support that mining companies need to develop and execute effective digital strategies.
And they can also help with things like website design, content creation,
Uh-huh.
SEO, social media management.
All of that stuff.
So they can really take a lot of the burden off the mining company.
Exactly. They can free up the mining company to focus on what they do best, which is mining.
Right, so it's a win-win.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different strategies and tactics.
We have.
But if you had to boil it all down to a few key takeaways,
Yeah.
what would you say are the most important things for mining companies to remember as they embark on their digital marketing journey?
Well, I think the most important thing is to just get started.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
Try new things. See what works for you.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Absolutely. There are plenty of resources available.
Right.
Agencies, consultants, online courses.
You name it.
You don't have to do it all alone.
So what's the one thing you'd like our listeners to take away from this deep dive?
I'd say the biggest takeaway is that digital marketing is not just a trend.
Okay.
It's here to stay.
It's the future.
It's the present and the future.
Right. And for mining companies to succeed in the 21st century,
Yeah.
they need to embrace it.
Well said. I couldn't agree more. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into digital marketing for mining companies.
It's been fun.
It has been a huge thank you to Beam Up Digital for sharing their expertise and insights with us today.
Our pleasure.
And to our listeners, we hope you found this conversation informative and inspiring,
We hope you learned something.
and that you're now ready to dig into the world of digital marketing for your own mining company. Until next time, happy mining, everyone.